What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Dev and Coach B. Who it be? That's what's up. Hey, what's going on, guys? So this is a little full length thing here. We got a little hot take. We're just coming at you hot and live and ready to go. We're so
Well,
hot.
first of all, Happy New Year's. I wasn't. You guys did an episode, fuckers. It's like, no, I know you guys had that set up, but Happy New Year's to everybody. You got it. Let's do a little quick little bullshit before we get into it, because I just don't want to be all sad.
Yeah, true, bro. We gotta catch up with everybody. How's the new year been? Huh? Everybody got a resolution?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Do you have any resolutions?
Me personally,
Yeah.
um, well, I really did think about it because usually I don't even think of New Year's resolutions. You know what I mean? It's
Uh-huh.
just because like you're just striving to be the best you could be every day and whatever. And you take that in stride. But I was gonna say maybe a little bit either one of two things, either like consistency with like everything in my life, or like I just make sure that I keep working at everything and I don't like just let pieces fall where they do usually, and like say all right, just drop that piece and let it go, and just try and be consistent with all the things I'm trying to do, or try and make some more time for my family because I've really just been slouching on them a lot of times. Like so, those are my New Year's resolutions. If I had one in particular.
Yeah, I feel the same. Strive every day, but everybody, like, you get around people when you're at parties and get-togethers, and people get to talking about it. So it gets you to thinking, and you just be like, yeah, what is my mine is just the fuck. We're gonna get this shit popping right here. We're gonna get what we need, the page popping, and all the platforms popping, and just get as best content as we can for this. Gonna get that business popping for sure this year. So look out for Shop for Less. We're gonna it's gonna be it's going real good right now. I got great news the other day that I was waiting for. So I'm definitely gonna have that popping and get that up and running, and just live a healthier, cleaner life. Start thinking about longevity. I'm getting, you know what I'm saying. I'm a little older.
Little
Don't
older.
don't be telling them my age, but no, I'm getting up there. Where it's like, be more conscious of your health, eat better. Just don't think you can do things like when I was Dev's age. Dev can do any freaking thing
Mm-hmm.
now. I'm mad at you for that shit.
Yeah,
But how
bro.
many people do you think? Like, I seen something about statistic. It's like, what, 2 weeks people fail on a
Failure.
resolution.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like sometimes I think it's because they like make their resolution like too crazy or something, or they think that like because they messed up the one, like the get in shape one. You know what I'm talking about? Like, oh, this year I'm gonna get in shape, and then what do? They eat like a bag of potato chips, and then they go, "Oh no, well I can't get in shape now because I ate a bag of potato chips." And they're like, "Well, might as well just throw it all away." Or they miss the gym one time or something, like because that stuff's totally acceptable. It's acceptable to miss the gym once or twice during that period of time where you're hitting that resolution. Like it's okay if you have a little stutter or spatter or whatever. I think that just happens with most things in life.
And I think most people, I think this came up. It had to be, people were drunk when they came up with this, and most people are drinking on New Year's Eve, and they're probably like, "Yeah, I'm gonna blah 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 blah." You know what I mean? Overexceed
Yeah.
themselves, and then when they try to do it, they understand. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I learned about goals and all that. Set your freaking goals to the moon, because if you strive to get there, most people think if they don't get to that goal, you know what I mean? They
Mm-hmm.
plummet. Make sure it's realistic though. You know what I mean? Make sure it's attainable. But if you don't get there, but you did the effort, you actually put in that effort, you won.
Yeah,
So
yeah. My perspective on it's like you got to know how to get there. Because if you're a person who's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, and you have no clue, and then you don't start, because a lot of times what happens is people don't have an idea of how to get there, and that's what's so intimidating. Is they're like, man, but I don't know how I'm gonna lose all this weight. You know what I mean? I don't know how I'm gonna do it, and then they start looking into it, and they're like, oh, that seems pretty hard, and then they kind of talk themselves out of it. And
yeah,
you're
because
and
they
you're
don't want to do it.
yeah. Or
They
hey,
don't.
that drunk conversation. You know what that reminds? It's like the how that probably comes about is it's the I love you guy. When they're drunk, he's like I love you, man, and then the other
Right.
guy is the bullshitter. When they're drunk, they bullshit. So like he's like sitting there saying like, bro, I'm gonna get my degree and blah blah blah, and then like the I love you man's like, man, I love you. I think you could do it, and then that's how the resolution comes
And
to
then they
me.
pump them up to do it, and then they got it on camera and shit. Like you said it last night, bro. You got to do it. Yeah, that's how it happened. Trust me. Those resolutions came up when a lot of people were in a room drunk, talking crazy. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
yeah, I do it just for just for it's party conversation. To be honest,
yeah,
it's
really.
get together conversation, and you really get to thinking like, what is attainable for me? And then I figure out, I just do it like you said. Like I'm a person like every day I'm figuring out, I got to better myself. Um,
Yeah,
it's
right.
just one of those things.
And I think that's definitely where you have to be. My mindset anyway is like I don't need it to be New Year's for that day to be like, oh yeah, like I need to think about it. Like every day's a new day, so that's your. I mean, you could start a New Year's resolution whenever. Like you could make a vow, but
You can make a vow
take
every second of the day.
yeah, right. Like from this point forward, I'm never this or that or whatever. And then if you slip, whatever, just keep going forward.
Just keep moving. Most people, like you said, they fall apart after one sign of a obstacle.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
or not just
Instead
an
of
obstacle. Not just an obstacle, but their own willpower. Because one thing to note is like your lifestyle is a lifestyle, or and you're trying to break that habit. And if you revert back to a habit for like a day or like you did it, don't act like okay now you have to go back to that habit every day.
it only
You
takes 21 days to break any habit.
Yeah, right. That's what I've been told in high school. But isn't it like
I've
scientific?
proved it. I've proved it on several occasions. Whether you break the habit, sometimes like if you go longevity without practicing the things and that devil idle hands thing,
Hmm.
if you don't continue on practicing the things that got you to break that habit, you will slip back into that habit
Okay.
because that's what you're comfortable with. Like you said, every day you're living your life in a habit. It's a habit. It's a routine. It's something you don't even have to think about. But once you break it, and then you stop the routine that help you break it and add on to that, you'll slip right back into your normal because you got your brain memory. It just
Mm,
remembers what's comfortable for you.
yeah. All right. So before we get to the meat and bones, I did want to make one little holy heck.
We could talk about whatever, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, this so I went to Subway the other day. My coworker was there, and me and him are sitting there bullshitting, and I'm getting my sub made and everything, and off all I hear is like this, like I don't even hear it. My buddy starts saying, "That guy over there is gonna throw up," and I'm like, "What?" And all of a sudden I hear this dry heaving over in like the room next to me, like where the people sit down and eat, and then as soon as I look over, this guy just threw up. Didn't even make an attempt to leave the table and like go throw up in the trash can. He just threw up all over the table, just chucked his guts up, right? Because he probably got that stomach bug that's going around. I mean, I wouldn't expect this dude because he wasn't like some old dude or like some alcoholic looking guy, or he didn't look like they were out at a party. It was a Thursday night, at 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I don't think anybody was out at the bar. So this guy literally just puked his guts out, and I was just sitting there like, bro, this dude really is sick as hell right now, right? And he decided he was coming to Subway with that stomach virus, where the food is like all the ingredients that they use to make your food is right there in front of your face. And even though that glass is there, that guy is like right there, like breathing on that glass, sitting there, and then he chucks up his food all over the table, and I'm sitting there like, man, like I hate it so much when people are like deathly ill, right? And they have no remorse for anything else other than what they want to do that day or what they want to get or whatever, like stay home, like no one wants that shit that you have, if if you're sick and you need some food, get someone else to get it for you. If you got to go to the doctor, then fine, go to the doctor, get whatever medicine you got to get, but stay home. That's how all this shit usually spreads, and it drives me crazy because I'm like, really? Like you're gonna come out
You a
here?
fucking germaphobe, yo?
I'm not a germaphobe. I'm not a germaphobe per se.
Howie
But
Mandel, motherfucker.
I'm saying if like I said, if you got like a stomach bug, like and it's going around, like it's contagious, it's highly contagious. Everyone's getting it, right? I mean, I got the sniffles right now, which I absolutely hate the sniffles. But he was like I said, just completely utterly sick with that stomach bug, and like no one wants that stuff. You know what I mean? Like that puts people out of commission. and I
Yeah,
don't want
I
it.
mean, but I mean, you can't like people have to live their lives, bro. There's nothing you could do about that. Like, what is it in
Hold on, hold on, hold on. You
your
gotta
way of
live your
thinking?
life. You gotta live your
You're
life, so you have to go to Subway. Like you're
no,
absolutely sick, and you're not thinking about anybody else, and you gotta go to Subway. Like that's not. It'd be living your life if like it's something you had to do. I get it. Like I'm like, oh, you had to stop at the bank because of this circumstance or whatever. Okay, I get it. You know, and who knows? Maybe you're saying, oh, maybe that guy was in town and he's from far away and he didn't have anywhere to go to eat, so he had to stop at Subway or whatever the fuck. Okay, I get it, but you don't have to. Like, if you're sick, why are you out? Someone can help you. That's all I'm saying. Like, you are gonna
it's
get
true,
everybody
but
else
we
sick.
don't
It's
know.
selfish.
I get what you're saying, but we don't know. If we were with him and we know we have the backstory, like we don't know. We don't know that shit just didn't hit him, like driving to wherever he was going from. It didn't just hit him, because that's how it happens. It could have just hit him right then and there. We don't know. But me personally, I don't want to go nowhere when I'm sick. If I'm sick, I'm not trying to fucking go nowhere. That I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? I get what you're saying, but I just look like it. I mean, if you're saying in general like a person, but we don't know what if that dude, it didn't hit him right then and there.
Right.
Like,
Oh
just
no,
didn't.
no, I agree. I
You
agree.
know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I try not to look at things like, yo, why'd you do that? Unless it's something that he's doing right in front of my face that I know you're doing it to be ignorant. You know what I'm an ignorant fuck. But if I don't know, I just be like, oh fuck, that's fucked up. But
I don't know.
But the question is, did you eat your sub?
Yeah, I ate my sub because I was already getting it made. Whatever. I can take a day off work. You know, I was telling somebody today too. When I get sick, I rather have the puking up my guts kind of sickness than the sniffles or like head colds and shit. I hate them because head colds, they last forever. It's annoying as hell. You're just sneezing and huffing and puffing and your nose is running and you're just trying to breathe out your damn nose, got a headache, and for like, 2 weeks at a time. I hate that shit. But I rather have like that 3-day bug where like I puke like 4 times and then I'm just like, oh, I gotta lay here for a minute. And
I very rarely get sick though.
Yeah, same here.
I get like congestive sick and I feel a little shitty when the weather changes 2 times a year. That's it. When I get sick, if it's something like a bug or something like that, as soon as I first one quick sweat out puke, I'm done. I got a good immune system. Doctor said I got a very good immune system when it comes to that shit.
Yeah, like I said, same here. I rarely get sick, but it's just like whenever I don't like when people are like, ugh, I don't know.
I feel you, man. I get what you're saying.
I just feel like it's so, and you're right. It could have hit him right then and there. But usually, like I said, like I can tell you from like because usually that's when it happens to me. Like when I get a bug, like especially when I was younger, you could just tell. You woke up and you were like, "Mom, I feel like I'm gonna puke." The night before, you didn't even notice. Then you woke up, you're like, "I'm gonna throw up." You knew it was coming. So, and that's how I usually feel every time I get sick like that. Like I wake up and I'm like, "Yo, I'm throwing up today." Like that's what's gonna happen.
Speaking of fucking throw up, the fucking this shit's getting out of control. I really want to know who the fuck Donald Trump is, yo. Like, who is he? Is he the guy that wants to fucking do right, or is he the guy because he's just canceling out anything he does good by saying and doing dumb shit? Did you hear what he said? He wants to declare a national emergency to get the funding to build the wall.
It's a national emergency. Well, some could say we're in a bit of an emergency situation.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
No. Metaphorically, not because we need funding for the wall, but I'm saying because there's people that work in government that aren't getting paid. The IRS is not going to return any of your tax money. Like all this other crazy shit because the government
system. They're talking about cutting the food stamp program.
Yeah, just cutting it off because they can't keep the workers employed. You know what I mean? People's lives are on the line just so this guy can build a wall. A great wall of America.
Of nothing. Yeah. Of nothing. I guarantee you, we could scale that motherfucker. we should if they can start constructing it. Dev, we're gonna go down there undercover, do some fucking research. We're gonna help build the wall.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna put little we're gonna put in there where they can get through and shit,
Be
and
little. We're gonna start.
sell the fucking entry to the motherfucker.
We're gonna be stonemasons, and then like whenever we build it, we're just gonna go and start hopping it. It would be half cool of a thing if it was like built like the Great Wall of China. You know what I mean? I know it's not gonna be built like that, but it'd be cool if it was, because then you could just be like, check out the Great Wall of America, and you'd be like, wow, check that out. I mean, it's a symbol of like, basically, not. I wouldn't even say it's racism. It's just ignorance, like people being dumb and saying like, oh well,
I
these
don't
people
think he really cares about it. I think he knows he has to keep his supporters
yeah.
on, because everybody gets riled up about that, yo. You get around a couple of them and mention, yo, I don't think they need that wall. What? What?
We need that
You have
wall.
to have that wall. You know what happens? What they're doing? They're coming. Do you see what they did to that girl?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I actually had a good Facebook discussion with a couple of my friends. Goodness gracious. Sorry, my nose. I had a good Facebook discussion with some of my friends where we talked about it. And, one of the points they like to bring up is, oh, the MS-19 or whatever the hell. And I said, okay, so you're going to act like Mexican gangs are really the problem in America, right? I'm like, because you're going to throw out, like, how violence in general in America is a problem, between school shootings, between gangs in, like, Chicago, Miami, and, all these big cities, Baltimore, Philadelphia, how we have, all kinds of violence and crime and theft. I'm like, you're gonna sit here and act like crime isn't like just a problem in America in general, and then sit here and say, oh yeah, that's it. We don't want those guys coming in. Which I get. Oh yeah, you don't want to add more fuel to the fire, but I'm saying that you're sitting here saying that these guys are so bad, and we're not even throwing money at the problems in our own country. So we're like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna build a wall for this. It doesn't make any sense. It's so. It'd be like throwing it'd be throwing $5 billion at a problem like there's a nail sticking out on the floor. So we need to pay someone $5 billion to hammer the nail in. That's what I'm saying. Like you're overpaying for a problem that's not that big an issue.
And the facts state that it's at a all-time low when they're doing the numbers, and we have more technology to keep track of it, better technology to keep counting and keep how many people there than it ever has been. So the fact that wall is going up there, take that $5 billion and just create $5 billion worth of jobs for people to watch the wall.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that was another thing too. I was saying, because they're like, oh yeah, it's only going to cost $5 billion, and then we had that discussion about how much it costs for the Iran deal and all that other shit. Well, I'm like, okay, so now you build the wall, right? The wall's built. Now you got to pay someone to maintain the wall. And you gotta pay people to be Border Patrol still, because you're gonna need people to watch every inch of that motherfucker. And you can't tell me that Border Patrol people aren't gonna get paid off by the cartels to pull the drugs over. It doesn't matter. That corruption's gonna be there. I said, so you're gonna sit here and act like this wall, which it has no power to stop anything unless people behind the wall keep their word and do it, is gonna solve a problem. No.
Yeah, it's fucking useless.
But I'm just saying is like now here's the thing, it was funny because it was like a joke, and we were all just like, because we were all laughing like a month ago, right, whenever we saw the GoFundMe, we're all just laughing our ass off like these guys are really gonna try and build the wall with the GoFundMe. But then now we're not even laughing, we're just like, are you fucking, because now Trump has the government on lockdown, and I'm like, are you fucking serious? I'm like, you're supposed to be the president of the United States, and you're acting like a 5-year-old when he doesn't get his way. Well,
he's been like that though. That's nothing fucking surprising. But the thing when I was saying that, I was canceling out. Like he did good. You supported a couple good things that's helping you. Like that. Something that wasn't in the news. This is how I believe in that the media is not really pumping up, the facts. You know what I mean? Like with the Revitalization Act, that was part of what he was saying when he gave those tax cuts about bringing revitalization and 10 years. That's the executive order he signed. He got it done. He did it. It's a perfect shit for the inner city. It's going to help the inner city small businesses. It's perfect. But then the next day you turn around and say, I'm locking down the fucking government because you won't let me have a wall, you fucks. It's just canceling out. And that's way fucking, like, you just did something good. Take a week, fucking stay off Twitter, get a little bit of people saying, hey, he is kind of saying what he said he was going to do, but then he turns around and does some ignorant shit again. Like, it just doesn't, I'm just like, who is he? I'm going
Yeah.
to do a fucking thing like, who is Donald Trump? Is he just trolling and just playing around to get, we all know every politician's out for power. He's no different. He's getting his family and his cronies in a situation just like every other president did since that started, just on a higher scale. Every year it just becomes higher and higher. Get in that secret club and all that bullshit. I get it. But the thing that I don't get is when you turn around and you just motherfucking like, okay, you go as far as just to get those votes. Like, I think that he's going to do a lot of things in these 2 years because he realizes he's not going to have the votes this time. He's not. So he's going to go and get the votes that he needs and say, hey, come on, turn around, turn around, turn around. But if you keep doing the fucking bullshit like this, they're going to get him out of there quicker than the election, bro. They're going to attack him.
Yeah, no kidding. And but also at the same time, would you agree with this statement that bad people aren't all bad?
Bad people ain't all bad, meaning like gotta have a definition of bad.
Right. Yeah, but I'm saying like because to me Donald Trump is I think is like a bad person, right? Or you know what I mean, because he does things that are good, and that's what I'm saying is like most people that that you don't like are bad. They're not all bad. Like, and there's that voice that's always in the back of my head saying, well, they're not all bad. I mean, yeah, they did this and this and this, to me or to everybody else or whatever, but they're not all bad. Right? I mean, that's usually how I like to judge it. So when I look at Donald Trump, I mean, to me, he's just...
Well, you're saying like mistake, you can make bad mistakes, but if you continue on doing the thing, you're just a piece of shit. You're doing something that's bad.
I'm not even saying they're mistakes, right? I'm saying like you're a bad person, like you're doing shitty shit because you don't. But then you do the occasional good thing. Does that make you now a good person because you did one good thing for the 5 shitty things you did? What I'm saying is like the definition. If we're gonna go with definition of a bad person,
you're still fucking bad because if you're doing bad shit, you're selfish. So whatever that good thing is that they did, I guarantee you there was a MO behind it for it.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So like to me, whenever, like I said, when we talk about Donald Trump, I don't like him, and I think he's a bad guy. He's not all bad because as I really been thinking about it, I was like, you see. I mean, we've already seen it, but now, whenever you really look at it, at this point in time, if you're a person who thinks that Donald Trump's like a good person, I don't think you can do it because he's genuinely shown that he doesn't care about the jobs of the people in America that work in his government because they're not the working class guy, using the wrench and the hammer because that's his voting demographic.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, most of those workers, they looked at that. Trust me, they're looking at every number right now because they need every vote they can. Those people what is it, 800,000 people? I guarantee you it's nowhere. The numbers are so low that voted for him. So he's like, fuck him.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's sociopath thinking. He's a sociopath. He's an alpha male that's sociopathic, and he'll do anything to fucking crush the competition. That's what he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that'll never, like, but the thing that I'm saying, like, everybody's like that in power. But they, like we talked about before, either we're getting fucked no matter what. Do you want Vaseline or you want it without?
Dry.
You want to dry fuck. So he's the ones that's choosing to dry fuck everybody, saying no, there's no Vaseline. We're not even asking you. You're taking the dry fucking. So that's, you know what I'm saying? Is that really him, or is he saying that's the only way I could have got elected is to do it that way? You know what I mean? You can, so that goes to your bad. Is he bad, or is he just an alpha male that will crush the competition? Business fucking, they all do it, but they have a limit to what they will do. In that dirty game of politics, they seen that, oh my God, we rose up these people on this. Go a step further. Oh, go a step further. Is it just trolling and saying, oh, this is the only way we're going to get these numbers, so I got to keep it up? Or is that really who he is? Because talking in our community, we love Donald Trump. If you go through every rap song, his name is probably in over 4,000 rap songs, because we admired the way his swagger and what he was doing, just like I'm crushing shit. Now that he's in this position, are we saying, is this what we were really weren't privy to? He was hiding and that's who he really is? Or is he just doing it to move in a position to get to where he's at.
Well, let me start off by saying that in your culture you idolize Donald Trump, but did you really know Donald Trump? Because
Didn't
what
idolize him.
well, not idolize
We
him,
didn't idolize.
but you liked him. He was in all your rap songs, whatever.
Yeah, we were just like, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool. Like
but
Donald.
I'm saying, like, did you really know him? Because what you saw was what it was you guys created a character of him. Like we do with most people, we create an impression of somebody, and what we got was, look at this guy, he's a baller. He's like, look at his swagger. He's got the tower, the Trump Tower, and he reigns over all of it. And he's a rich guy, blah blah, businessman, whatever, etc. But we didn't know about all of his. I mean, because all his failures and stuff were in the limelight, or not in the limelight. Rather, they were in the background, and how he acted and treated people was all in the background until he ran for president. Because at that point, because he was harmless, right? He was just a business guy, and he was an icon almost, right? Not like an idol, but an icon to people. They're like, oh yeah, like that's Donald Trump, and everybody just knew it because it's Donald Trump. It's like the Kardashians.
Yeah.
It's like the Kardashians. You know what I mean? And the difference, though, is everybody knows about the Kardashians shit because, everybody's up their ass 24/7. But
that's because of technology.
Right. But I'm saying now Donald Trump, once he put himself on that platform, he became a target because now everybody, because he was a person now that people had to bring down, and all of that dirt come up. Because, like I said, he was harmless. He was just a business guy and an idol. That's what he was. And now he's the president of the United States. So you really, I think that character shows. And I think that at this point you have to look at him and say, because if he's willing to do it and just to get to that platform, then you can't say he's just doing it to troll, because at that point the trolling isn't funny. It's hurtful. It's harmful. So he's a bad person, bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, I just look at it like that. I look at it like, yeah, I know he's a shrewd person. I just think he's taking it a step farther. They're telling him to take it, like his advisory is like, and he's letting it happen instead of saying, nah, I'm done with this. I'm already in here. I might as well try to get their tactic should have been, let me try to work with and get the other voters.
Yeah, well,
That's
exactly.
what the tactic should have been after like a couple months in there, settle in, and then say, hey, this is what we're doing to get the massive, and you really want to work to make America great again, then that's what you do.
Yep.
But yeah, fuck him. Either way.
Yeah, let's stop talking about Trump, because we somehow we all Trump's kind of like Adolf Hitler, because like if you talk long enough, you end up having a conversation about him. So what's the meat and potatoes today, Coach? What are we eating for lunch?
Well, yesterday, like, this is freaking interesting to me. Like, I grew up on his music and shit. The R. Kelly special that Dream Hampton came up with on Lifetime. They did it. Shout out to Lifetime and Dream Hampton for getting this shit done. I watched the 3-day special. They got 3 2-hour specials on each day. So there's 2 1-hour specials on. It's called Surviving R. Kelly. And I just think that they brought it to light. I think that he's been hiding, not in plain sight, for years. He's a predator. We all knew it in the community. We counted him off years ago, but people were still supporting, buying his music, going to concert. Overseas, they love him. He's still able to fucking run around here and do crazy shit. And I found it interesting in some of the stories that they had. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. I know you didn't get a chance to check it, and you might not know in depth about R. Kelly, but I'm sure you know when it's said who he is and what he's been accused of. And and there's a lot of things in there that I want to touch on and discuss, because there's a lot of people that should be held accountable for letting this fuckface do what he's doing. And yeah, I'm not saying allegedly for this shit, because he did the shit. He's a fucking weirdo, and he needs to get the fuck out. That's all pretty much what I'm saying. Excuse all my cussing, but I don't like people like this shit, especially in a position of power, for people to let them do it. Nah.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I'm aware of some of R. Kelly's feats, such as peeing on a girl, and what is she? She was pretty young too, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Various different cases of like just rapey thematics and stuff like that, and
not rapey, pedophilia.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. But not just pedophilia, but like I think like not just like with like little girls, but also women, not like not just little girls, like rapes kind of stuff, like them coming out with those kind of accounts and stuff, and it's just sickening. And it is funny is oftentimes these are a lot of the quieter kind of crimes, like um sorry, ugh, like the pedophilia and stuff, especially in like the big media, like we're talking like celebrities and politicians and stuff. Like pedophilia is like this weird thing that like it's real quiet, no one talks about, and I'm glad a
Yeah,
show like this had the balls to bring it to light.
yeah. In position like this is one of the reasons too that I was glad that this got put on the forefront because, like you said, the media kind of keeps it. They'll say something about it, but they won't run with it like they're supposed to. They're supposed to make this dude crawl under a rock. You know what I'm saying? Not never want under there sucking his thumb, wondering is somebody gonna come kill me. You know what I'm saying? That's what needs to happen with this in the media. And I think today it came to light because, like you said, for some reason, pedophilia and crimes to women and crimes to children, especially boys, for some reason, they do not shine a light. One, I understand because not only reason I understand is because dudes, like if a kid goes to their dad or something or their parents, especially in the black community,
Mm.
and they say something, you know what I mean? And it's hard for me to try to like really explain it from the black community side of it. You know what I mean? I've seen it
Mm.
in both. It happens in both communities, but it's treated differently in the black community, especially if you go to a man. They're not going to bring it out to the public. They're going to go fuck that person up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. They're not gonna
They're,
go.
or they're going to try to hide it. Or the single mother will be like, no, don't talk like that. I've seen this stuff happen before. You know what I'm saying? In real life. So I'm not sure why. I think a lot of people in a position of power, like Holly Weird and all that, I watch this stuff. I believe there is big rings that these big, rich, powerful people, they conquer women, they conquer all kinds of things, and then they're like, what else is next? I gotta conquer something. And then they do weird shit like that. I truly believe that there's a bunch of powerful, rich fucks that walk around and do this weird shit. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no
That's
doubt.
that's no conspiracy theory to me. I believe it.
Yeah, no, no, I agree. I don't think that's a conspiracy either. I mean, like I said, we often see stories of kids disappearing, and that's all you ever see of these stories. You never really get to see them like fully develop or say, because they'll say, oh, they found the kid's body, or oh, they found the kid, but then they won't tell you like what happened in the meantime, like what or know for certain. And I think that's what's really sad is like there's so many kids going missing, especially even in Pennsylvania. Recently, I've just been seeing kids just like on like little Facebook posts, little 9-year-old so and so is missing, little 12-year-old so and so is missing, and you're like, like all these kids are like disappearing, and it's kind of just crazy to me. Like it's like almost like they're being plucked like berries out of a field or something, and you don't know what's going on half the time. And I think it's a bigger issue, so much so. But I want to make sure we keep on R. Kelly. But that was just what I'm saying is like I feel
That's
like
part of it, though.
I
Wherever it goes, we can always relate anything to what you're saying. Because, like, what you're saying is like they're being plucked, they're being watched, they're being followed. And as soon as they get by themselves, they hop out on 'em. That's what this dude was doing, predatory behavior. And the thing about this that's so crazy is Dev, he has a studio in Chicago, right, that he uses. He
right.
was bringing these young girls. Parents were dropping their kids off to this dude.
Why? I mean, from a parent's perspective, they didn't think it was a little weird, like taking them one on one with a guy who was,
Because they had their own, they have their, he was predatory. He was saying, okay, this he's prey. He's saying, oh, I can attack these people because one, it's a single mom, she's on drugs. I could say, hey, I'm gonna make your kid a star, or come down to the, just he could say
Oh
any
yeah,
fucking thing.
right, right. He's a guy in power, so he can bullshit his way through it and say, just say anything to make the parent feel like, oh yeah, like I'm doing something good for your kid, And I get what you're saying, right? And some people are
Because
gullible.
there's one artist he had in there, right? Her name was Sparkle,
Uh,
and she wasn't a weak person, so he wasn't able to control her, so he never tried anything. He just developed her into an artist and made some hits for her, and they did some good music. But she knowing, like, okay, so Aaliyah, I don't know if you're familiar with Aaliyah. She was a young artist, great artist. She came up underneath him, met him when he was 12 years old. There was speculation that they were a couple. He was 27 and she was 15. They got married. They got a fake fucking ID. The people around him got a fake ID for her for them to get married, and it was everybody reported that they were married, so the parents got it annulled and shit like that. But the girl Sparkle knew about the Leah situation, been around since day one. She knew about his creeperness, and she brought her niece down there, which was 14 years old, and she ended up getting molested by him.
Oh my God! So she did. Sparkle brought her niece,
Her niece, which
and
is a rapper. She was like, she was good. She was like, I'm gonna bring him to R. Kelly. She was crying on the thing, like, why did I bring him to that monster and shit like that? Why? Yeah, why? What was he do? How powerful manipulation did this dude have for him to be able to get people to overlook that?
I
All these
mean,
people.
if we're being honest, it's something like a lot of the people we preyed upon were people that had a lack in the sense of they were like broken dreamers, like they had some kind of dream, especially for music, or some kind of talent like that. And what R. Kelly was promising them was like, hey, like I can help make you famous, I can help get you in the business, I can help record blah blah whatever. And then once he got him in there, he would just probably and not in a way blackmail them, but he would say, all right, this is what I probably need you to do if you want me to record this. I need, if you want this work and all that, because this isn't free. And
Yeah, this is how this goes.
yeah, and
You're telling young impressionable minds this is how the music business goes. Probably pulled somebody out and said, you like, used probably Aaliyah as an example. She was successful before she died.
uh-huh.
Um, he was saying, see what I made her? This is
Yeah.
what she did to get there. Manipulation, like very manipulation. Even his wife said it. He's a manipulator. He's a master manipulator. But the thing about it, though, that when I said like people should be held accountable, his people that are around him, like his assistants, they were going to get these girls, going to tell them, hey, R. Kelly wants you to call him. So they're like, oh, R. Kelly, call him. And they're helping the process. They're on here saying they did it on this thing. That's what's so fucking mind-blowing to me. Like,
no, they're saying they did it. I mean, you'd think they would have to be aware, but do you think they were aware, or do you think like maybe R. Kelly was also, because if you're a manipulative person, like you say, R. Kelly was probably very much aware of the fact that if he told the people what was going on, he had to try and create a persona where he's like, no, I'm just trying to help them, and blah blah. And did you think these people bought into it?
No.
No.
Their testimony on it was, keep my mouth shut. He's the bread and butter.
Yeah, then never mind. Yeah, they definitely painted themselves in a corner.
He's the bread and butter. They had remorse after thinking about it, like, because I'm sure there was a lot they didn't know.
Yeah.
But it was that blind eye, like, okay, I did my part. I'm out. I don't know exactly what he did. So in court, they could say, I wasn't sitting there watching him do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If it was ever the charges were ever brought up, if he ever got charged for it, they could say, I never seen him do it.
Yeah, but I mean, you're still like an accessory. I mean, it's like, you know what this reminds me a lot of in a way is the Sandusky case, where the people around him knew what was going on, and they were like, well, I don't, you know what I mean? No one wanted to blow the whistle. No one wanted to yell it out too loud because that was their job on the line and the other guy's job on the line, and
or they were participants.
Yeah, or
and
right.
He was just the fall guy.
Yeah, or they had a responsibility in the matter, because if they said something, because even knowing about it, even if they said something, they're in trouble because they'll say, well, why didn't you stop it the first time that you had the inclination, and so on and so forth.
And to think, though, too, like, we grew up to R. Kelly. This was around my time, growing up, when he was, like, came out, he was hot. I was, like, 14 years old, into girls. If you go back and, like, they were breaking down his music, and it was telling you that he was looking at young girls, and he's in his, like, 20s, okay? Like, they were saying he used to come back to his old school. He's like 25 now. He's a star. Everybody knows who he is. He used to come back to his old school and be seen around. The principal even testified. His music teacher said that she told him, stop chasing them young girls. But nobody took responsibility to put him on blast, or they did, and it just was like, that's
R. Kelly. God. Listen, hold on. All I got out of that was, and this is a fucked up image, but it's funny. It's just like a picture of R. Kelly listening to I Believe I Can Fly as he drives around at like a school parking lot, and like the music teacher just like pulls him like, what the fuck are you doing here? And he's just like, oh, I'm so sorry. He's like, I was just looking. And she's like, get the fuck out of here. And then he rolls up the window, and all you hear is I Believe I Can Fly as he drives away.
Wow, yeah. I,
It,
I was
I,
looking for the fucking cracks to crack on this fucker, but it's sickening. You got to watch it, bro. You'll be like, holy fuck, how is all this stuff going on? There's so many things. Like the city of Chicago is to blame for it too. Parents, I always urge parents for being a coach of kids. I made sure you cannot just drop your kid off here. You have to be a participant in this in some manner. I'm not going to be around a whole bunch of kids because I was coaching 101. That
mm-hmm.
was told to me by a coach for years that he got into a jam because somebody said something. Obviously came out it wasn't true, but he said he made sure that was drilled into my head. Make sure parents are involved, not only for that reason, but to make sure their development as well. So you can't just drop you. Don't stop using churches as we talked about this as babysitters,
Daycares. Yeah, yeah.
daycares, babysitters, teachers. You can't trust a teacher. Look at all this stuff. You can't trust a priest. We just went over this stuff. We're in the middle of all that right now. And it's crazy. Like, but do you hear about it anymore, Dev? Do they pound that in the ground like they're pounding in the ground about this wall or some bullshit?
Like specifically, you're saying, are they pounding into people about leaving your kids
Media.
alone, or the media? You're talking about the media. No,
Yeah,
you don't hear the media say that because you know why? It's not in their interest. It's because it's not what's trending. It's not the conversation they want to have where they're saying, oh yeah, and parents, make sure that whenever you leave your kids, because of all the rape shit that's going on and all the kids being abducted and blah 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 and all these basically child sex trafficking rings that exist in the United States, which they know exist.
that's the national emergency.
Yeah, and they're not, they don't bring attention to it because that's not what's, like I said, it's not a trending thing. And what's going on is all these kids are being trafficked, and they're not saying, hey parents, make sure you start paying attention to where your kids are and what they're doing and where they're going. Make sure you have at least an idea of where they're headed. Sports events, make sure that you know the coach, make sure you know the pastor. And not just knowing the pastor, make sure they have a friend that's there with them. So that way there's two of them you could trust. Say like they're two 14-year-old girls, they're friends. Make sure they go with a friend. That way if there's anything that goes on, they don't get separated. You know what happened because she was with her.
Right.
Like that kind of stuff. And they don't talk about that.
It got to start at home, man. Like I would never, like my daughter wasn't allowed to spend the night at nobody's house until she was like probably 16.
No sleepovers, huh?
Not unless it was family.
Okay, yes. I mean, I'm trying to think of my
And
childhood.
even at that point, because families are probably the number one culprits.
Yeah.
Inside, I think I read that. I'm pretty sure. I'm not. Don't quote me on it. Well, I'll have to get more. But family is that's where children's first sexual abuse starts. In it happens to a family, and then they repeat a cycle. Because R. Kelly came out and had that interview with Tavis Smiley and said, "I was abused by my family. I was sexually abused from the age of 7." His brother said it. He was abused too.
Yeah, and that's messed up too. You're right. You're right though too. It does usually stem from like a family or a family member,
or
like
a family friend that's around the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Uncle Chad, or which he's not really an uncle. He's just your dad's friend. Oh, Uncle Chad, Uncle Chad's here, or whatever.
That's why there was only one person, like my brothers and one friend of mine, that I even, you know what I mean? Because he had daughters that they would be in my house, and I knew him since we were playing with toys. He was the only person that I would trust in the manner of, like, he was the only person that was allowed to come in my crib as the kids were growing up. Because you're not going to get comfortable around minds and you're a fucking freakazoid. Because they can even fool the smartest of us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So,
or even the people that you really do care about. I mean, you like the people that you've known for a long time. You could still have like a distrust because they're you don't know everybody as well as you think. Usually is one of the scenarios or not scenarios, but one of the mottos I like to live by. Like if there's something, even if I think I know everything, I feel like I don't. But I mean, I'm not saying think every friend. Don't always assume that every friend you have is a rapist. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like
no, you can't do that. But you definitely got to set boundaries under understanding. Like your home is your home. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have Johnny over that you might have known Johnny for 10 years, you guys, but you know what I mean? You hang out, blah, blah, blah. But
Or not
unless
even Johnny. I'm saying like Tim that you met 4 months ago, and like, oh yeah, man, you can come over to the house.
yeah,
Yeah,
fuck that. Tim won't even know where the fuck I live
Tim won't even know where the fuck I live.
unless he's been following me.
That shit's funny.
But yeah, there was another young lady on there though. This one was the impactful one that to me is she was I guess she was like Dominican or something from Miami, and he got her down at the mall. Like I said, he went to a mall. They said that's what he used to say every tour city he went. Let's go to the mall. Who hangs out at the mall?
Kids,
Young
teenagers.
girls. Young girls.
Unless you're shopping, yeah.
Yeah, they're the majority of people. That's the target area for malls. They market to young girls. He goes to the mall, finds a few, sends his assistants and bodyguards. That's get her. He's picking them out. He picks them out at concert. So he gets this girl, tells her, hey, come have dinner with us, blah, blah, blah. She comes and has dinner. She was aspiring to be a singer, so she was all bright-eyed, bushy. You know, even her friend was like, yo, you have to go, you have to go, we're gonna get you dressed. She helped her and pushed her out the door, like, go. So the girl's like, I'm a singer. And then he said, you're a singer? Oh, well, let's go to the studio. And then she
Yeah,
said,
that's fucking. Oh,
immediate, immediately in the studio, he says, I'm going to help you with his career, and leans in and kisses her.
oh my fuck. But you see the theme. The theme is like I said that he when he's plucking him out, he plays with that fantasy. He's like because it's every girl's fantasy to be like some kind of like Hannah Montana type, especially at that age, like the Hannah Montana. You get this, you're on the show, you get to sing, you get to be famous, then you're whatever. Maybe not every girl's fantasy, but it's a fantasy people have to be famous and and have all that acclaim and popularity and to be known. And he plays on that. He preyed upon it like that, and he would just say. And it's crazy to me is how many girls that he could just get people to approach, right, indirectly, not him, but have other people like speak for him.
Have other people do it, yeah.
And like how many people he could have do that, and then the girls were just like, who's this random adult walking up to me and asking me if I want to go do this R. Kelly? And I mean, I understand, but like, I can't believe no bells like rang off. Like, parents aren't like telling their kids like, hey, like if you see anybody like random, like a stranger you don't know, come up and just like say some really fallacious claim, even if they could back it up with like saying, yeah, right here's R. Kelly, he's right here, he's real, you know.
Right.
Regardless, like I would still be like, maybe not me at 14, maybe not. Okay, but I'm trying to think.
Well, this girl was 17.
17. Okay, so she's 17.
She was 17.
And not a bell rang off in her head. Like maybe, I mean, I get it though. It might be too good to be true, or you're like, oh wow, like I can't miss this opportunity. I get it.
So she got starry-eyed, teenage starry-eyed, was going into 18 where her parents, she said she had a conversation with her parents. But this is where it gets fucking creepy, bro. So this is what he's doing. He's like, yo, you're going to come to Chicago. He bounces out, he leaves, he calls her and says, I'm sending, a plane, go get on the plane and come to Chicago. She talks to her mom. Her mom was like, you're not going. But she, of course, says what every teenager says. I'm grown. I can do whatever. I'm almost 8. So she couldn't. What could she do besides physically just whoop her ass and say tie her up? So she goes. They have a sexual encounter. Blah blah blah. He sends her back, brings her back and forth, and then one time then the domination starts coming. The weird shit starts coming in, where he was like, "Yo, you don't move." He was going to do a video shoot, and he was like, "Don't move out of this hotel. My people are watching you. If you leave, they're going to tell me and I'm going to come whatever, threaten her."
Oh my God, that's fucking sick.
So this goes on for years while all this stuff is happening. And this is the crazy part, though, bro. When she gets to actually go to his house in Chicago, actually get to his house. Now, time frames are crazy to me because he has a wife at this time. But where's she at? But they also said she was on there. She was on there and she said she was fucking tied up in a room or couldn't move and eat without asking him, calling him daddy. Crazy shit. So she
okay, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So she finally gets to his house, And she's like, okay, so when we got there, there was this young girl, and I'm gonna tell you, you'll know who the young girl after I get to the point. But this young girl there, he was like, she had to have been like 15, and she came in, and he said, I want to try something new, and he said they went into this gym area. He had, I guess, an indoor gym, and
Oh my god, I already know where
he
this is going.
he pulled out a freaking Joni, like a futon couch, she said, pulled out his camera, was telling him what to do. She started crying. She said she was uncomfortable, but she said the young girl, didn't need to be told what to do. She was just doing it. It was natural. So he already broke her. And she said this went on a couple of times, where she couldn't even talk to people on the tour when they went on tour and buses. I mean, he had total control of each one of these chicks. Like, don't even talk to each other, having them do sick stuff. And that young girl that he had that dude that he was training, that 14, 15-year-old, and she said she was 16 at that time. So for 2 years he groomed her, was the one at Sparkle's niece.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What a fucking, well, first off, what a fucking plot twist, because you just literally like took the first part of the thing you were talking about and brought on the second and like brought them together, and I think that's funny. Not like funny haha, but like funny, like interesting.
Right.
But
Crazy. It's crazy, bro. You have to see it, bro. You will walk out of there like, nobody's going around any female in my family ever again.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. And it's 6-part series, so I mean, how there's still more episodes. So that's what's fucked. See, that's what it's been bugging me this whole time. I've listened to you talk. This is just the first fucking part of this shit show. There's still more. There's still more to be talked about. Like, even one time, it's bad enough, right? Even one time, it's bad enough. But then you're gonna sit here and tell me that they got enough material in this fucking dude to make like 6. What there's one episode on last night, right?
Yeah. 2 episodes were last night. 2-hour. 2 1-hour episodes.
Okay, so then they're probably gonna do that every night afterwards. So what? So now there's gonna be another 2-hour each episode. Like there's gonna be another 2
hours tonight.
Yeah,
2 hours tomorrow night.
Okay, so that's the 6 episodes. So it's gonna be wow. Okay, so holy fuck. So they got enough time.
7:30 football game comes on tomorrow. I guarantee you, there's gonna show action of people going from the football game watching the R. Kelly football game, because it's that fucking, it needs to be done.
But I'm saying they got enough material to make a 4-hour, another 4 hours, not just 2, but another 4 hours of documentary on this guy. And that, like, I'm just saying, that is, to me, that is just pure evidence. If it's not, you can kill me. But that's be pure evidence that there are fucking monsters out here everywhere that are doing that same shit. And
that's what they said. That's what the second episode was said. Hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, there's got to be monsters everywhere doing that shit. We're grabbing 15-year-old girls and saying, like, all right, like, get on the bed, do this with this other girl. It's like, what the fuck?
It's just one of those. It's one of those things. Like, I look at this as, one. I'm glad that people are starting, like, more people eyes are open because of this. He's even talking about suing Lifetime and Dream Hampton for doing it. Mm-hmm. I hope that more radio stations are saying and streaming. But this is the kicker, Dev. This is the kicker.
Okay.
It's fucking 50-50 on the gram and all that, fighting back and forth saying, oh, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. He didn't do that. You know, he ain't. And people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? He didn't do that. You think all these little kids, I'm sure there's a lot of embellishment. I'm sure there's a couple that are lying, but there's not, you can't shake that off, bro. You can't shake off 50 girls saying something.
Right. Yeah, that's the same thing with Bill Cosby. You remember Bill Cosby? Because when the first one came out, we were just like, yeah, whatever. The second one, yeah, whatever. The 15th one, yeah, okay. I mean, come on. I mean, at some point, you really gotta be like, nah, like, this motherfucker did this. You know what I'm just saying. At some point, if you're a person on the gram who's defending R. Kelly, after like 50 chicks come up and say some shit that he did it, he fucking did it. You know what I mean?
It just ruined my fucking childhood, bro.
Especially on my 20s.
From 14 to around 30, R. Kelly, even probably 13 to 30, 32, R. Kelly was the king of this shit. He made great music for partying, inspirational music, dance music. It just thinking back of like what he was programming into these young girls and into our heads, subliminally, I'm like, holy fuck. I got to try to get these songs out of my head. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Sad thing, well, not a good thing for me is I never fucked with R. Kelly. I knew one song, which is "I Believe I Can Fly," and that was it because
No,
I was
he's
never an R. Kelly. But no,
musically, bro, he killed it. But that was his platform to do his sick
right,
fucking work.
yeah, and not just that, he was also real. He seems like he was real. He was good at keeping that shit quiet because only up until now is like he make this big this they make this big show that gives a big outrage and a big outroar from the world, because it was really quiet because he would just do it in spurts and it would be real. Like I said, it'd be quiet from what it sounded like.
And I take Dream Hampton and again Lifetime because I'm sure Lifetime wasn't her first. You know what I mean? Platform she went to.
Yeah.
Lifetime was probably like, and yeah, they probably needed some boost. I'm sure they're being selfish on that end, but
Mm.
they took that risk to be like, fuck it. What can they do to us?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
what are they gonna do to us for us putting this out here? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
And just us being bridging the gap, more stories like that need to come out where it's like, like they go, I don't give a fuck, like I'm gonna say what it is, and I'm gonna grab the people that were a part of this and make sure it gets heard, like those stories that like we don't get to hear that often because you're always on the news listening to the same bullshit. Like I said, because what you get on the 6 o'clock news, they're talking about the same that Donald Trump shit, they're talking about the same fucking thing that was on at 1 o'clock and the same it's just at some point, okay, the same story gets old, you've heard it 1,000 times, give me something that really needs to be heard. And this is like something that like is so overdue, it's ridiculous. And you gotta thank Lifetime for coming up and saying and doing the ballsy thing.
Well, I shout out Dream Hampton because she's always been doing and Lifetime. I'm really going for Dream Hampton for getting it done.
Explain who Dream Hampton is for me and the audience because I might
Well,
not be familiar.
Dream Hampton is like she's written in many like she's done short films. She's won a lot of short film contests. She hasn't done feature. She's more of a documentary. She's written for Jay-Z's Decoded. She's written for countless people's their books. Written for countless magazines, Vibe magazine. She's just good at what she does, and she's been pushing for this to get this done for years. She mentioned it years ago, and she finally got it done. She's just one of those people that like, and most of the work that she does is on subjects of that people don't want to touch. So if you guys ever get a chance, go to her page or whatever, just look Dream Hampton. You know what I mean? It's very easy. You can find her, go see who she is really about because she took because that's a fight. Like I said, everybody knew that it was going on. Everybody chose to still work with her when all these rumors were circling. And there was a big thing that like with Jay-Z, they had a album together back in the day called Best of Both Worlds, where R. Kelly would do and Jay would do all the right. It was excellent. But on tour, they had a fallout. And the rumors were saying that he started seeing what R. Kelly was about. And he was like, fuck you. I ain't getting involved with this shit. You know what I'm saying? So those type of scenarios. But real quick though, I wanted to say on the flip side of what I was saying about them getting this done and this being exposed, the flip side of this is that his streams are up tremendously.
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly streams
Yeah,
are up.
because now what you have is people that are like myself who are gonna go, well, I've never even really heard his music, and they're like, well, let me go look at it because I mean that thought has crossed my mind, and I don't even give a fuck about R. Kelly, but that thought has literally crossed my mind since you brought it up, where I'm like, what's his music? Because now you're saying like, well, his music was great, and now I'm like, well, now I want to kind of hear what the fuck his music was about, so I can be like, eh, or yay, or what if it was good, which it doesn't matter to me either way. I don't. It's just like I said, like I don't give enough of a care about R. Kelly's music because here's the
It wasn't your generation, bro.
yeah.
Name somebody that's powerful in your generation that makes great music.
So like it'd be like saying like Eminem or because he was
You'll
like
say
early.
Eminem.
Right. So
Okay,
like that'd be like finding
what
out
if
Eminem was doing this. Is that what you're gonna say?
huh?
Like
Yeah, what if it came out Eminem was doing this right here?
right, then
Would that
yeah, then I would be like, yeah, Eminem made great music, and then I would be like, wow, like, but he's this, and that's what's hard is like maybe meeting the musician first rather than the person first. You know what I mean? It's like you hear his music first, and you're like, wow, like this is good music, blah blah, and then you like meet the person he is, and you're like,
they'll
wow,
disappoint you.
he's a piece of shit. Which I think, yeah, that's just true of people though. But I mean, he's a real piece of shit.
When you find out what when you find out what he's looking at, what you're really looking at.
Yeah, but that's the same concept as what we talked about with Donald Trump when I said, you know, are bad people all bad? Because I don't think so. All bad people aren't always all bad, but they're still bad people. It's the same concept. Good people are not all good. You know, like there's just good people have done bad shit in their lives, you know, but they're still good people.
Yeah. I mean, I've done horrible shit in my lifetime. I mean, but I never like some of them were mistakes. Like, I mean, I never hide my truth. I used to be a drug dealer for years. I never hide my truth I live my truth. I don't find I chose a path and made mistakes in your life, and that's doing something horrible over and over to your people in community.
Right, helping you're
Yeah.
basically helping perpetuate. You know, you could break up families with that. I mean, ruin lives. I mean, that shit's hard, and
But I never I was not I was considered a good person, but my mother was like, "You're a piece of shit for doing this." You know, my sister or aunts that what I mean, like, what the fuck, you know, they love me, they still love me, still accepted me, but they're like, "You're doing something horrible every day, and you're trying to say, well, I do this good, and I do this, and this and this." That still don't cancel out the craziness that you keep doing over and over and over and over and over again. You
right.
know what I'm saying?
Right, and like I said, being a good you can eventually become a good person if you're
Oh
doing
yeah,
bad shit. But I'm saying like, yeah, but at some
good
point there comes a
change.
limit. But at some point there comes a limit. Like R. Kelly, like it's a wrap. I mean, like years and years of like like molesting little girls. Like you don't get, you're never gonna be a good person. Like never. Not even if you go, oh, I'm so sorry, I knew. Because the problem is
Who are
you
you
knew
gonna
it was
prove it? How are
wrong.
you gonna prove it? Who are you gonna prove it to?
Yeah, exactly. And but you knew it was wrong, and it's so fucking wrong. And
Yeah,
you're gonna then one day, even if you say, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do it, yeah, and the moment you did, and there's girls that are never gonna get their fucking lives back because of it, because that's all they're gonna be able to think about. Or whenever they think about having sex with
that's
another
fucked up.
man, a man that they love, right? Like they want to fuck a man that they love, or like they just, when they're in a relationship, period, they're gonna think about that relationship where a guy is like took control of them and like treated them like an animal, a sex slave.
Yeah,
Like that's going to be their
piece of
experience
shit.
with that.
And
So,
I'm glad it's coming to a head right now. I want this motherfucker. I don't want to ever see him or hear his music ever again.
yeah, it's fucking gross. It's just
Be-
sickening.
because like this is how crazy it is. Like I had somebody on my time that was like, everybody's. I know this person. Everybody's hating on Ark. I don't know if they were trolling or whatever, but
Yeah.
I truly believe this person is really like this. I don't care what nobody says. And we have good conversations. Usually see eye to eye. I don't care what nobody says. I'm still fucking with R. Kelly, and I'm like, that dude's a straight pedo. You know what I mean? He's a sick individual, and you got kids. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They're like, so I don't care. I still fuck with him. I'm still listening to him. You know what I mean? I don't know if she was trolling or she was just, you know what I mean? But I was just like, yo, I'm not gonna stop fucking with the person. I'm just gonna say, yo, I just ended it like, well, go vibe out. That's your right to do that. But
Hmm.
I don't see how anybody can just like, after seeing just the first part of that last night, can't. It brought all the shit back to me when I stopped fucking with him years ago.
Yeah.
It's been over 10 years when I was like, oh, this dude's a creep.
Yeah. And again, you got to think there's still 4 more hours of that footage. Like they still got it's a 6-part mini documentary. So you know what I mean, a documentary series. So.
Mm.
If you watch the first one and then you go, oh shit, there's 2 more after this, you gotta really ask yourself, well, fuck, this is the real deal. And I think that your friend or whoever you're speaking on, they're one of those people that they're, like I said, their impression of R. Kelly, they're not willing to change it. They're like, no, he's the good dope R. Kelly that made the cool music. Like that's R. Kelly, and they don't want to see. It's because they don't want to see the side of R. Kelly that's out, doing this fucking goon creepy shit to girls.
And this just goes to say, like, during the times and cultures, different cultures and times, this is why we do this at Bridging the Gap, to understand different cultures. Because, like I said, it's handled different. Molestation is handled different in the black culture than it is in the white culture. I've seen them both. I've lived in both cultures. I grew up in this. I'm a system baby. I know how shit goes in every culture. Um, it's handled different. So in saying that, they were also saying, they brought up something very interesting too. Um, Talking about back in the days, like with rock and roll, like Elvis was a pedo. His
Elvis.
was a pedo. His what's his name? What's his wife's name? Famous. She
Oh
was
yeah,
young,
she is shit. Yeah, I remember that now.
she
Right.
was young as shit. Jerry Lewis married his stepsister when she was 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? And there was always those songs that said, like, you had 25-year-olds singing "My Six Sweet 16." They brought all this stuff up. Like, none of this stuff was like being attacked back then. Sure, those guys made songs because for the teeny boppers, but they started breaking down lyrics and stuff and saying they were doing the same thing, whether they were acting on it or it was just marketing. I don't know, but it was
Yeah.
at one time it was very blunt and very accepted by the culture.
Yeah, I
By
was gonna say too, like that's one of those things where like I'm not gonna thrash that music group because you're right. They could have just been writing music for that and like and just saying. I mean, because
well,
I
Jerry
don't.
Lewis and Elvis, there's no thrashing. It's facts.
No,
They were
no, yeah,
pedo.
no. But I'm saying like those other groups that you were talking about, like they were writing like My Sweet 16 or whatever.
Yeah,
Like I said, like I don't know. Like for me, like that's kind of like up in the air. But I will say like yeah, a marketing thing, sure, and also too. I mean, I'm not saying it's acceptable. No means am I saying acceptable, but I'm saying like back then, like I don't know, like people weren't even fucking. That was like something like people weren't even like worried about or whatever. Like this is like the time when like people would be like they'd have their 16-year-old daughter right, like on the farm, like down south or something, and then like they would have their daughter and there would be this farm hand that's been working on dude's farm for like 4 years, right, and he's like 20 or something, and he'd be like, well, yeah, you can be with my daughter, blah, 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 or whatever. Like these kind of like almost arranged things. Like,
and that happened.
yeah,
That's happened in life.
yeah, that happened. And that still happens, not here, because in America, that's unacceptable, right? But like in fucking country, like Muslim countries and India and like, I don't know about China. I think China and them maybe still do it. I'm not sure. But like arranged marriages and stuff, where like, like she's however old, like you and this guy are getting eloped, like this is the deal. And they don't get a choice in the matter. They don't get say in it. Not one whatsoever. So that, like, like,
Well, yeah, arranged, but I don't know if they're underage. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know about.
but,
I can't say. I know it happens in other cultures, but it's real.
yeah, but I'm
I don't
saying
know
like,
about Muslim culture. I've
right.
never really delved into that about girls. I know they're arranged marriages, but I don't know about them being given away at a young age
You
or
mean
in this
you
culture.
mean you mean how the Prophet Muhammad, his youngest girlfriend was like 13.
Well,
He
that's
was
you're just now you're going into that. Well, we can go into the Bible.
right. Yeah, the Bible's the same way.
But
I mean,
but here in
yeah,
Christian in a strong Christian we don't they don't accept it. They don't do it no more. So that's what
right,
I'm saying.
right. Oh
We
yeah,
don't
right.
know that that's what happens.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is like that kind of stuff. Oh, you're saying that you don't know that happens? I can tell you that it happens. I'm not saying that it's widely accepted, but I'm saying I can tell you that stuff happens where they have those marriages where it's like the guy who's like what? How old was R. Kelly whenever like this shit was like 27, 26, something like that? Right? They're marrying like their 14, 15-year-old daughters off and stuff. And like I said,
Okay.
because there's a
Is it
lot
illegal
of
though in that country?
is it illegal?
Yeah.
I don't know because
Because
like I
in
said,
this country at one
because it
time
happens. It probably
it
happens
was
because it how it happens in so many different countries, right? Like a lot of African countries, like especially the ones that are like in like turmoil and stuff, like the Uganda or Uganda and countries like that. Like there's basically no laws because the country's run by like drug lord dictators and all kinds of shit.
well, it's the same
Oh,
here.
yeah, right. Or
I just don't know. I
but
just don't know for a fact. I would
yeah,
imagine like there's a lot of creepy shit that goes on in the powers that be here. They're doing creepy shit, bro. So with their own kids also. So I just don't like to pin. I don't want to pinpoint saying like that's me personally. I don't. I
Oh,
can't do that. That's the way because I don't know for sure. I haven't
right.
done the research on it, so I don't want to. I just don't
Yeah,
know.
like I said, well, it comes up in a lot of my atheist exploits because when you see all these things when they talk about the marriages and stuff like over in like especially like I was watching the documentary like God Loves Uganda, like over there like they have just Christianity because these the Baptists and stuff they want to spread the message of God over there, right? Well, they go and do like all these crazy things like killing homosexuals, like they just murder them straight up in the
Mhm.
street, and all kinds of shit. And like I said, that marriage stuff it happens like where they, like I said, like they'll get a younger girl and like they'll marry him off to the guy who's like some 27, even older than that. I'm not particularly saying what the age is. I just definitely know it's definitely not right. Like it's a young girl to an older guy.
Yeah,
Like
I
and I
believe it.
and like I said, I can tell you for a fact that happens. Now we don't accept it. I think the point I was trying to make though from where we started was like it's a cultural thing, like
Yeah,
the understanding of it, like like how it's evolved over time. I mean, it's always been fucked up, but like as a culture, some cultures
I
haven't
think it's
evolved
a
enough to see it.
power thing. I
Yeah,
think the people in power uh, put in their power and squeeze that power to where you know what I mean, where they're saying they're gonna get what they want and they're gonna do it with their own sick, twisted minds and find ways to twist it and get it done.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I
You know
think
what?
that's what it is
You know what? I
because
have to
it
agree with
happens
that.
here, bro.
Yeah,
Weird shit happens here too, is what I'm saying. It's just we're going to these places and doing the weird shit there, and we're doing it behind closed doors here and secret societies underground shit. It's just crazy, like that
yeah.
shit that happened in Britain about all that Parliament people. I watched that documentary where they said American congressmen were over there doing that shit. They had
Mm-hmm.
proof of this shit, and they were bringing out. I forget the documentary name. I watched it months ago because to me, like I like watching stuff like that because it helps me notice those type of motherfuckers. And those are the type of motherfuckers I'll go to jail about if I catch them doing something. Because my mind would blank out. Like, it wouldn't have to be my kid.
It'd be so
It'd just be
sick.
like anybody's kid. I don't even have to know the kid. Be like, that's just sick, yo. It's sick thinking. You know what I mean? And it could be anybody. If you met this person, you might like this person as a
Yeah,
of
right.
what they're showing you. You know what I mean?
Then you see
So
that, you're just like, what the fuck?
fucking
Like,
smack these dudes up. You know what I
yes.
mean? I
So
want to I want to go on that one show. I want to help them. I wish we were up there when our numbers get up there so like when we do stuff like this, we can maybe go on like a ride along with like they have that show on A&E where they go bust up rings and shit. Like
yo,
they go
that would
look
be
for missing children and rings and they do it tactically. Like
yeah.
these people are like we're fucking them up if we have to. Yo, turn that camera off. We're fucking these
The fuck
motherfuckers
is
up.
that? Yeah, bro, we'd be geeking. I think we'd be geeking on that. Like, all we would do on that show would be like, "What the fuck?" Like every five
Yeah,
seconds,
whip
we'd be
his
just like,
ass.
"What
Yeah,
the
kick the camera
fuck?"
on.
Yeah, like when we
We're
turn the
putting
camera
this
back
up. We're
on.
posting this tomorrow.
Yeah,
But yeah, like I said, like these are the things. Like this would be a great topic that like we busted down and did one of those things. Like we said, we're gonna take some time, a month, work on something and put out a nice little shit like
yeah,
something like this. But I just wanted to get on it because we're moving into this new format for our guys, and we want to like jump in and give our view and cause some get some people awareness that might not really know or understand it of like who this person is or what he was doing, speaking on R. Kelly or whatever topic we're discussing. Stuff like this needs to be brought to our listeners because I guarantee you a lot of people, like as our list of watching right now, there's a lot of people on this list that probably haven't even heard of it yet.
yeah. And you know what? I think that's a good point you bring up. We should really be advertising this, helping Lifetime out because people need to see this. I definitely agree. Like I said, I think I think that's the important thing is we need to make people aware of the shit this guy has done, and also make them aware of a bigger issue, not just R. Kelly, but people in power doing this fucked up shit and these rings and this pedophilia. Like it's
Watch your fucking kids. I don't
yeah,
care if it's preacher. I don't care. I don't care.
yes,
I don't
that
care
was
if you got
yes,
if you got like in a family, a tribe, your tribe of people. There's people in that tribe that are fully trusted that will die for you and your kids, and you will do the same for them. Those are the people that you say, okay, we get it. You got to work. I'm going to take it back to coaching because I mostly dealt with single mothers. Now,
Mm-hmm.
single mothers have like 2 or 3 other kids where they got to go run. So I brought them together and said, I don't care if it, and I broke down what I'm saying right now. You got a tribe of trusted people. You got an uncle that babysits, that watches. You trust him. If he has to come here this day, but I need your participation, one for my mind to make sure your kid is safe at all times, and to help in their development. So do that. Make sure, don't send your kid off somewhere thinking, oh, this guy, he just came in and impressed me. My kid's safe. Don't ever take that for granted
No.
because you don't want to have to pick up the pieces that, like what I was watching on that show. And then if anybody checks it out on Lifetime, the I Survive R. Kelly, how these girls are breaking down. You could see the
Mm-hmm.
like they're gonna have to take years. And these girls are now like 30 something years old, and they're just breaking down. Like you could see that he just took something from them that they might not never get back.
Yeah, right. Like I said, it wasn't they got to experience love or whatever you call it and sexual, those things that are supposed to be, the pinnacle of your life in some points, and they experienced it in the worst way possible, not on their own terms, and totally manipulated into it. It was awful.
And that's the one thing that I say to fellas too, like us as men, we have to be careful of what, because coming across like if you see them at the beginning when they're coming, they're there. You're like, oh, that's a beautiful young lady, and then
You don't know.
if you had it on mute and you weren't hearing what they were saying, you'd be like, oh, that's a beautiful lady. I'll look at her. And then once she breaks down, so we got guys that are meeting these ladies, and they can't be having healthy relationship. And shout out to the guys that are helping them pick up the pieces,
Yeah, that's what I was
but
thinking.
and be patient and help work, because anything could set them chicks off, and they might seem like they're crazy, but they're fucking hurt. He broke them.
Yeah,
He
right.
broke them.
You know what I mean? Like you go to kiss them and they're just like, maybe not. Like they're hesitant to be physical or intimate with you. You just got to be like, well, like that. You just got to instead of being like aggressive with it, being like, man, what's your deal? You got to be understanding and sympathetic to that, and you got to be like, okay, I understand. Like you're hurt. Like I get it. Like that shit it's traumatic. It's traumatic mentally. Like that's just wow. So that's so fucked up.
Yeah, that
But
was a
hey,
good one. I just wanted to get that out there. We're gonna get more of these hot shit for you guys, man. That was awesome to be able to just like hop on it right away. Like Dev, we're working on like getting the technology up where we can start doing some lives and interactions, right?
yeah, so we can do some live streams and get you guys in here talking with us live, talking about whatever bullshit is going on throughout the week. We could pop up on you anytime, anywhere. Well, as long provided you have internet and a phone or a computer or whatever the fuck you got, an iPad, a fucking whatever little tablet. But I wanted to give before we close this out, I did want to say, guys, that's going to be on Lifetime on what time tomorrow? 7.
No, we're recording this right now. It'll be on at 8 o'clock tonight on Lifetime.
Oh yeah, right.
Um,
So eight
and then
o'clock.
tomorrow you're gonna drop this. So I get, yeah, 8 o'clock again tomorrow. But they're playing it all night. They repeated it all night.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, then there you go. You got
It was
plenty
on
of
till like 6 o'clock this morning, over and over.
ample time to go watch that. If you haven't yet, please go do so. It does. Lifetime probably does have live, like on their website, probably have live streaming properties as well. So you could probably get on there on demand section. Lifetime probably with like DirecTV if you got that. Go on there, watch
And,
it. Please watch it, please.
and Dream Hampton, go check out Dream Hampton. Go to just Google her, see who she is, and whatever you see on there that you like, try to support her, because it took her a lot to get this done, and she's standing up and fighting back. And I'm sure there's a lot of pressure on her in Lifetime. So shout out to both of them.
Yes, shout out to both of them. Please go check out Dream Hampton. But that's all we've got tonight, I think, right, Coach? You don't got anything else? Yep, that's it.
Nah, well, there was one thing I just wanted to remind everybody. Yeah, we're definitely I forgot. Fuck it.
Yeah, no problem. All right, well then, guys, hey, Bridging the Gap crew, we are out of here. Take care of yourselves, please. Have a blessed night. And like I said, again, watch your kids, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good one. See ya.